Hello, let's talk about the H.P. Lovecraft story, The Dream in the Witch House. You know, it is really undescribable story. Well, there is a lot of things in Lovecraft's stories that you can't actually describe. For example, the Old One, the Azathoth, the Nyarlathotep, Cthulhu, you can describe them, but here, well, you can't do it, just because it is non-Euclidean geometry. I know that there is, for example, in math, the fourth dimension. We live in a three dimensions world, and for example, can you imagine the fourth dimension space? It is undescribable. You cannot even understand how will it look like, and it is true undescribable because it is geometry. It is very hard geometry, and you don't know how does it looks. It is not our three dimensions world. It is four dimensions world, and it is interesting because in the lots of Lovecraftian's story there is a lot of things that we think are undescribable, but Lovecraft describes them. But now it is another situation. There are a lot of different things in this story. For example, from the one hand is Christianity, and from the another hand is the ancient gods. So if you have a Lovecraftian universe, so you understand that there are ancient gods and we humans are only ants. But here the cross can save you from a witch. So we have two dimensions here. First of all, it is ancient gods, and the second thing is Christian God, and it is contradiction. Another contradiction is you also have here science and witchcraft. So here, if you have special angels and proportions, you can go to the different dimension. And on the other hand, if you know witchcraft, so you can do it too. But maybe if we have a very development technology, so it looks like science. So here we have something like two different sides: magic and technology, Christian God and ancient gods, and it is interesting. There are a lot of different things in this story. There are a lot of references to the other Lovecraftian's story. Lovecraft didn't build a whole universe like, for example, George Martin or J.R.R. Tolkien. It is different stories with different universes, and each story is different universe. But on the other hand, we have references to the monsters from the story Beyond Time, and we have references to Innsmouth, to Black Man, and this Black Man, he appears in other Lovecraftian stories, to the cone-shaped creatures from the story Beyond Time and other. But it is just for kicks. For example, Lovecraft thought maybe, why not? Why shouldn't I add these references to my story? And there are a great atmosphere in this short story. Listen only for this. Possibly Gilman ought not to have studied so hard. Non-Euclidean calculus and quantum physics are enough to stretch any brain. And when one mixes them with folklore and tries to trace a strange background of multi-dimensional reality behind the ghoulish hints of the Gothic tales and the wild whispers of the chimney corner, one can hardly expect to be wholly free from mental tension. I'm very happy how Lovecraft said that if you study math, well, you can be mad. Well, it is really interesting how Lovecraft used, well, the same trick like in the 1931 story The Trap, where a boy gets trapped in the looking glass and can't get out. Well, here is the same situation. Lovecraft took his earlier story and make it bigger. Well, speaking about the main character, you see, you can, well, it is smart man, and but he got mad under influence of witchcraft, and he think about he should leave the house, he should go to psychotherapist, but he constantly procrastinates. And well, the man wanted to find some secrets, but these secrets find him first, and he is not very happy because of that. Well, one of the things I think about, why didn't he leave the house? When he realized what had happened, why didn't he leave? And yet, well, he should understand that he shouldn't, well, okay, all this story happened, well, almost all the story happened when he wasn't unconscious. He didn't control himself. So he put his signature when he was in a dream. He couldn't make his decision. Because in other stories, well, main characters make their decision voluntarily. But here, well, he was in a semi-conscious sleep. Yet I read this Jenkins, this rat, and because of old knowledge and occult books, well, he degenerates, returning through the stages of evolution to some pre-human state, and it is cool. So there is some theme of racism. Well, the kidnapped child was a Polish child. Well, I don't think that Lovecraft really means that it was they can sacrifice baby because he was Polish. Perhaps Lovecraft approved infant sacrifice only because it was Polish child, but I don't know. I don't really know. Well, knowing Lovecraft and knowing how great racist he was, it is. Well, talking about the story, I can say that there is some, not weak points, but why this Walter Gilman didn't leave the house when he could do it. Well, I think he should leave the house when he, went mad. And maybe he should, I don't know, why didn't he go to doctor? Well, strange thing. And, maybe he should have at least tried to break into the boarded up room. But in the end, when he killed the witch, well, it was great. He was something like he was in a dream all the time. But when he heard baby crying, so he killed the witch, and it is great. It was great. And what about the witch? She escaped justice, but she was killed. So she lived in a hole for hundreds years, and then she was killed. It is not that fate that she wanted. She should better lived in a greater position. She wished, maybe. So okay, thank you for your attention. Bye bye.